Hey, it's DJ Reflex, Power 106, and I'm super excited to have this young lady back, Alessia Cara. Thanks for coming back up to Power 106.
Hi, thank you for having me again.
It's been, what are we, Mundo, what are we, 3-4 months since the last time we were here? It's been
5.
It's been 5?
June
Probably 5.
17th.
It's been a while. Not really a while, but
Seems like it.
has anything changed in the last 4 months, maybe?
Just a little
Just a
bit.
few things, maybe?
Just
Yeah.
a few little things have changed.
Congratulations, Know It All is available now. The album came out.
Yes, thank you
Of
so
course,
much.
and the last time we sat down, the record was doing amazing things online, and just with the fan base that was really showing it to the world. And then some things just started happening. I mean, some huge performances.
Yeah.
The opportunity to go on Ellen, which I'm sure was phenomenal.
It was crazy.
And then, of course, the Taylor Swift moment of her coming out on at her show.
Yes.
How emotional was that for you to kind of like? Were you able to really soak it in, or did things just kind of happen so fast with sound check and such? Like, how did it feel?
It did go by really fast,
Yeah.
of course, but it was like, I think that the Taylor Swift thing was like the moment where everything just really sunk in, and I just remember going back to my dressing room on adrenaline, and then getting like off the adrenaline and then just crying.
You just cra-
yeah,
you
just like I
crashed
had
in
never
there.
cried. Yeah, I just collapsed. I just literally collapsed,
Good
and
for
I just started
you.
crying like for 2 minutes though, because I'm still strong, so I didn't cry for that long. But it was like crazy. It was just, I think everything just hit me, and it was 55,000 people, and it was Taylor
That's-
Swift, and it's this whole thing. It was insane.
It must be amazing to walk
Crazy.
out and just see that audience and just the
Yeah.
dancers and just a whole
Yeah,
other
we had
element.
like a whole, like it was like a step like a huge step up from obviously what I do
Yeah,
now. So
yeah.
it's crazy. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Let's talk about the album Know It All. So when I first met you, it was based on this buzz around here, of course, and everybody's talking about this Here record and such, and it seemed almost as if people didn't know what it was. It was like, is this like a not necessarily to categorize, but is it kind of a poppy record? It's kind of like, the person that's not into the party, but then it's not like it was kind of hard to gauge. It has like a soulful Isaac Hayes sample in it. Like a lot of people
Yeah.
were trying to
Figure
figure out
out.
where to put you in a box, and I think that's part of the beauty of the record, which is why so many people, it appeals to so many people, is because it does touch on so many areas of music and the lyric especially. And so I go get the Know It All album, and I'm thinking, okay, now I'm gonna figure this out. Like, I want to sit down and figure out Alessia musically and what she's talking about and such. And I think I'm more confused than ever because
Yeah.
there's so many influential pieces of the album, lyrically, topically, and of course musically as well.
Yeah.
How did you kind of, when you sat down with all the records and such, how did you feel like it all kind of came together for you?
I feel like, well, definitely, yeah, it's all over the place sonically. It's like I just have so many influences, and I
Yeah.
just wanted to experiment, and I don't really, believe that it should just be one genre. I think you can have all these different influences, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I do think albums should be cohesive in some way. And
Yeah.
And I think I made it cohesive conceptually. So the concepts of the songs is what make them cohesive.
Absolutely. Between your vocal and the topics and just you bring it together.
Yeah.
Sonically, I was just really amazed that you kind of, there's so many pieces that I'm like, man, this is almost like a country record, you know?
yeah, the
Like,
Stone, right?
that
Talk
Stone,
about, yeah.
Stone
It
is such
sounds like
a
country
record, like it actually makes me like want to go get like married again and like be like, yo, this is like the song that should be played like at a wedding, you know?
Aw, that's awesome.
It's
Thank
really,
you.
it's a really special record, and even in the ballad world, Stars is a beautiful record. Did you
Thank you.
write that, co-write it?
Yes,
the-
with Sebastian Cole. I co-wrote all the songs with Sebastian Cole except for Pink Walls.
That
which is me.
record, I mean, Stars is a special record.
Thank
It
you.
really, I mean, I think the lyric, and tell me if I'm wrong, but it almost feels like you're telling the person with like, we really have to be like, you have to really expose yourself and be honest
Yeah.
with each other to really actually see the real you and the real me to really make this work. And such.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think that's such a beautiful lyric. I think it's really,
Thank
really
you.
special. And I think a lot of people, it's going to resonate with a lot of people, and it's very, I don't know, it's just something special in this day and time for someone in your position and as young as you are to say something like that. It's really cool.
Thank you. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to
What
me. It's great.
do you have, like, now that you're able to perform all the records and such, is there like in your show, is there a particular highlight musically for you, like of the album that's like, that's my favorite song to kind of get to, or is it kind of all?
I mean, of course, all of it because it's so dynamic, but
Sure.
I can't wait to do the ballads because I've never, in my show right now, we don't really have ballads. I'm just doing like the more up-tempo stuff from the EP. So I'm excited to do the stripped down stuff and also just to perform like the big ones too, like 17 or Wild Things and all that.
Yeah. And then For Pink Walls, that record. Now, explain to me the concept of the name Four Pink Walls of the single. What's that? What's behind the title of that?
So the title of that is based off of the four pink walls of my bedroom. And so the whole concept of that song is just me being in my room as a kid and growing up, having all these dreams, but just being stuck in my room and really doing nothing with my time.
Yeah.
And I was so oblivious almost to the life outside of my room. And now that I'm doing all this stuff, I'm never in my room anymore. And it's like the complete opposite. So it's just basically saying like I'm finally exposed to like all this amazing life behind those four pink walls.
That's awesome. Now, that like when you're writing a song like that, how does that? Do you remember how that kind of sparked, like just the concept, or did you write the song and then entitle it Four Pink Walls, or was that's such a cool concept to me, just to take it so personally home to like the atmosphere of like your bedroom, you know?
Awesome. Well, thank you. I think. Sorry, I interrupted you. Were you gonna?
No, I was gonna say, how did that like kind of how does that do? I'm just curious on the songwriting side, like how do you approach like the co-write, or when you sit there like I want to talk about like how I felt there to where it is now, looking back at like, or going home and seeing those walls still, if they're still there. Are they still there?
They are, but they're not pink anymore.
Okay.
I painted over them before I wrote the song, which I
Okay.
probably shouldn't have done, but I didn't realize I was going to write the song. But as far as like the whole process, I think with that song, it was kind of different because I had the concept, like the word four pink walls in my brain, and I knew I wanted to expand on that idea, but it's so hard. It was challenging for me to come up with a 3-minute song about staring at my bedroom walls. Like, how do you describe that, you know?
Yeah.
But I wanted to try it, so I really tried to make it really visual, and so then I like pieced it together throughout like these last couple months, and then I finished writing it actually on my way to my surprise party, which I thought was a studio session. So I quickly finished it, and then because I thought I had to go to the studio, and it was like my surprise party for my birthday. Which
Oh,
is
that's
cool.
awesome.
But yeah. Anyways, I had in that case I had like the title first, and then I
Yeah.
tried to figure out like how to write a song based off
Sure.
of that concept.
And I think there's a lyric that you're kind of saying like, I know there's more to what I'm here for. Like there's more with what I want to do, and like I'm not like in like, you know, you have a purpose outside of these four pink walls. You know, in that aspect. Was there ever a moment like in the musical aspect of frustration or feeling like maybe it wasn't going the right direction for you and such? Had you had those moments, or do you feel like you just always had that confidence to feel like, you know what, it's gonna be good, like this is gonna work?
Well, I always knew I was meant for it, like I said, but I think there were moments where I just thought, well, am I going to be able to do it? Like, how is this going to work? There was times where, you know, all my friends were in university and I was taking a year off trying to get signed, right? So there'd be days where I'd just be home doing nothing, like waiting for some answers or to be told, like, did anything happen? Does anyone want to, you know, sign me? Like, I was really scared because I wasn't going to school and I was in this weird stage of life where I was kind of confused.
Yeah.
And that was really scary for me. So that was kind of like the phase where I was still confident, but I was just like really hoping that something would happen because I was like stuck.
Yeah, and I think that's a hard decision that a lot of aspiring musicians and artists have now. You know, especially at the age that you were at, of like just the pressure of life. You know, like knowing that you love this art, you love being creative and such, but then, you know, I don't know, did you feel like that pressure of life of like, maybe I should just go focus on school, or maybe I should go do something else, or did you kind of just throw everything into this, I guess is the question, you know?
I mean, of course, yeah, there was a lot of pressure, especially from like family members. I come from a very old school Italian family, so you can imagine what the advice was like on their part. But I think I just really believed I just believed that I was meant to do this, and I knew that I was going to do it, whether it was in a year from now or 20 years from now. I knew I was going to do it, and I really just wanted to try this. Like, I knew I wouldn't be happy doing anything else, so I really just had to try, and I just gave it everything, and that's why it was scary, because I didn't have really a plan B at that point. I mean, I could always go back to school, but I was just at this weird phase where I wasn't enrolled in school, and I was stuck. So, but I just really believed in it enough to just try.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask that because I think that it's you know, you're such an inspiring story for the general audience, but also for artists that you know, maybe don't feel like they fall in a particular category and just know that they're pursuing their dream at the end of the day and such. So I think it's relatable in some sense for a lot of people and aspiring artists in general to like hear your story, particularly because again, like I think musically, you don't fit into a cookie cutter box of like what an artist, you know, what labels or what people like to do now with musicians and artists, you know, and I think that's really inspiring to a lot of people.
Oh,
Let me ask you this. There's I was actually surprised when I listened to the album. There's a bit of romantic, like there's a bit of like love, like, you know, stuff going on. Like, are you a little hopeless romantic a little bit? A piece of you is this?
I guess, yeah. There's I confuse myself a lot because I'm just like, I have all these different parts of me. There's like this really stubborn side that's like independence, rebellion, and then there's another side that's like, oh, but like it would be nice like to be alone, you know. I'm just
there's parts there's lines that are kind of like you're in control, like you're kind of like you gotta like win me over. But then there's parts that's kind of like, hey, like I'm fragile too. Like let's not like hurt me in this process either, you know.
Exactly. So I think I'm just confusing, and I have those phases where I think I am vulnerable and like on the inside, but I just have this really, really tough like stubbornness about me that just makes me just act like I know everything sometimes, and that's why it's called know-it-all.
Well, I think that's okay. So I think, all right, here's my take on it. Is like I think all girls are kind of like this. Actually, you think maybe? Like that's why I think people relate, down, but I think artists always want to just like focus or like that people are so scared to give that all.
To give both,
feeling. And you can be all those things. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you strong either way. You're just human. You're just like going through that process of living, you know.
Yeah.
What's next for you? What are you going on tour?
Yeah, top of the year, 2016. I'm so excited.
Who's opening for you? I just saw that someone.
Kevin Garrett.
Kevin Garrett.
Yeah, he was also at Tidal too.
Yeah,
I don't think he performed, but he was there.
Yeah, he's managed by Rock Nation.
Yeah,
so he's a great voice too. He's phenomenal. It's gonna be a fun show.
He's awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. How excited are you to go out and perform this whole album now? And
I'm so excited because we've been usually doing just like the EP, and we obviously couldn't do some songs because they weren't released. But now that everything is out there, just to perform everything, it's gonna be so cool.
And then you still are keeping it back to the grassroots. I saw you just posted a cover of I think a Justin record last week, which is like my favorite record on that one. Was it the
Love Yourself?
Love Yourself.
Yeah,
it's so
Ed
good,
Sheeran.
right? Yeah, Ed Sheeran and the mom lyric.
I love that.
It's so good, right?
Line.
It's so like it's so real. It's like,
my favorite.
My mom likes everybody, you know.
But she doesn't like you.
But she doesn't like you.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
so what does that tell you?
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's
awesome. So good. Thank you.
Congratulations. I'm so excited, and not just as someone who gets to interview, but as a fan of music to see what you're doing. I think you're creating an environment for many artists to kind of come on your tail and be who they are and just pursue the art first. And I think that's really a great thing you've done for the culture.
Thank you. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. And thank you for getting the album and listening to it.
That's cool. It's like it's no joke. Like this isn't like a cram session. Like Alessia's on her way. I gotta like hear the record. Like listen, I actually DJ'd out of town. Like I drove to San Diego last week, and like it was like my soundtrack the whole way to the club. Like I'm like listening to like Stone before I go in and like play a bunch of like heavy like house music and such,
Awesome.
But it's such a great album, and congratulations again. Know-It-All is out right now, so make sure you get it if you haven't. And congratulations, it's really great to see you doing everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
Cool.
Good to see you again.
All right, thanks for coming up. High 106.
Thank you.
Cool.